Hello and welcome to Making It, the podcast about making theatre and making it as an artist. I'm your host, Temi Wilkey, and each week I'll be chatting to an emerging playwright, theatre maker or theatre company about how they make theatre, why they make theatre, and what they do to survive. Zia Ahmed is a poet and playwright from northwest London. He is a former Roundhouse Slam winner and writer-in-residence at Paines Plough as part of Channel 4's playwright scheme. His poetry is lyrical and exact, with a deadpan sense of humour and the kind of sweeping imagery that makes the sky feel bigger and like your brain's in flight and like your heart somehow gotten into his hand. His debut play, I Want to Be Yours, is touring the nation with Paines Plough and Tamasha Theatre and opens at the Bush Theatre Studio on the 4th of December. Zia, welcome to the podcast.
That was nice.
My first question for you is, how did you get into theatre?
School. I think I did drama GCSE. We had playwrights come into our school, which was cool.
Nice. Which ones?
A guy called Nick Rosso. So this one was this was an after school one. So this one we actually got to write, and that was Hampstead Theatre coming into our. Oh man, so I just dropped a hair in my tea. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
That was an after school thing where we all wrote scenes that we knew would be performed by professional actors. And that was real cool in that sense that we were treated like, we were writers.
What year were you in when that happened?
That was in sixth form.
Oh, cool.
So he liked the thing that I wrote, and then this was time ago. So there was a thing called Start Night at Hampstead Theatre, which was like 5 extracts from like 5 different pieces, which would get feedback on the night. And he got in contact with me and asked me to write something for it. But this was while I was in sixth form, so it was cool, but it was something I was like, whatever. Like,
that's so interesting that like your first point of contact with theatre was always with playwriting.
Yeah.
Like I felt like, were you watching much theatre like when you're at sixth form of school?
No relationship with the theatre. It's like film, Bollywood. Like there was cinema in Walsall Green, Bellevue, which showed Bollywood films, and an auntie on the road near us who had like she sold videos. Or you rented videos, you go with like 50p.
Oh my God.
She had like a cupboard of VHSs.
And were they Bollywood or were they?
It was all Bollywood, like. Film, but not like theatre. I don't ever remember. Definitely not a family thing. But even school, until I chose it for like GCSE, it was pretty no exposure to theatre.
And like, when did you start like going? Like,
I wanted to do drama or something like that at uni. Sort of took a break from it and did like sociology for like a term and at
uni or this is sixth form?
At uni and then dropped out and uni, that's another story. But,
it's part of the story.
It's so then when I dropped out of uni, I just started researching just things to do to pass the time, and I know my drama teacher got back in touch when she found that I dropped out, and then told me to come into like assist her and stuff, and then through that I started watching shows again because like they were like school trips and stuff like.
Wait, so you like after you dropped out, you were working as an assistant at the school, and then was that right?
Was not for like it was the free, just so that I wasn't like moping at home. Like.
Right,
so
right.
She was like just looking after me, like just like come in a few days a week. Like we ain't got any money, but like you can like put it down in your CV and stuff like that.
Nice.
And through that Hampstead Theatre, from the first time round, the playwright thing that I did after school, the director from that was still working at Hampstead Theatre, so then I got in touch with her again, and she was running Heat and Light, which was a youth group at Hampstead Theatre, which they shut down when the other guy come in.
Ed
Hall, yeah. When that got shut down, I found out about Oval House. And again, I'd never been to South London. It was one of them ones that I was pretty like stayed in Northwest or went to East to meet family. But I genuinely, until the Oval House Youth Group, I don't remember going South London. Like there was no need.
Yeah.
for
Why
me.
would you do this?
Yeah, why would I do that to myself? I was, I'm living there now, so I can't. Yeah. So all of the stuff was for youth theatres rather than like shows. Like, so I didn't really.
And were you acting in it, or were you always kind of writing?
All of it. Like, I was just doing it all, like, because I guess with the sort of devised sort of projects, I got to do both, and I was drawn more to the writing always. I'm not that. I rate actors now, but it's I can't do that stuff, like even like knowing what my character had for breakfast and stuff like that. I do appreciate the value of that in helping. But for me, that is, I just want to do the lines and just sort of vibe it with the other actor.
Yeah.
But I would never be able to tell you what a character had for breakfast. Like, it's just, yeah.
And so you said that you feel like you were always more drawn to the writing. Like, were you writing separate from theatre? Like, how did you get into writing?
I don't know. I'm sure when you're like adolescents, like they must angsty rhyme book or like. The more I think about it, it was moments from like when I was real young of hearing my dad. There's this thing it's like a poetry circle, but it's like usually the elders, and they would come round, and we weren't allowed in the room, so there was like they would just shut the door. It's a bunch of like elders, like aunties and uncles. There's more uncles than aunts, but like. Because our door couldn't shut properly because of the bed anyway. The bed was slightly too big, so the door would never be able to fully shut. So I remember hearing them do like ghazals, like, sort of like, or do poetry, and like that sort of started me. That.
How old were you when you were like overhearing that?
I was like 7, 8,
Wow.
and there was an Asian. It's still going, but like, it feels Sunrise Radio is like an South Asian radio station, right? And there was a show where like people phone in and do. It's like a cross between it's like song poetry. So it's like, and yeah, they get so into it, and it felt like an outlet, like. In terms of like they were like singing about a lot of it is still like linked religiously, but there was a lot of like sadness or I don't know whether nostalgia or homesickness that you could sort of feel something and it felt like an outlet. And I think that did start. And the more I think about it, that feels like a moment where I remember, something in that in the release of writing things.
So it sort of feels like poetry was like something you connected to, like kind of through family from like quite a young age.
Yeah, through family, and also like I think Bollywood lyrics are pretty like if you try, they're quite emo but then they're quite, some of them are quite beautiful as well. Like, and I think because lyrics are poetry as well for me anyway. Like, it's nothing's dumbed down or done like. But especially with Bollywood lyrics, there's them things sort of stuck. And I guess maybe like even like Quran, like learning the Quran Arabics, it's like there's the rhythm to it, and it's like the meter. It's actually like so from like 3 and 4 when like you're learning, it's like don't know what it means, but you know there's a rhythm to it, and the meter and like things that still remember from learning the Arabic that I don't like completely know all the meanings of, but I will remember because of the rhythm of it and the flow and then
it feels like your way into poetry was like kind of osmosis, like it was just like kind of around you everywhere, and you kind of just like sucked it into your like skin, like in your mind.
Exactly. Yeah.
But when do you feel like you actually like started like picked up a pen and was like, I've got to do this, I've got to make this outlet my own?
Like for like school project, I would always do a poem that was, and then whatever. There wasn't like where it was like about endangered animals. I think I remember like years 5, 6, writing about endangered animals or like traffic guidance for kids, like these things. But the play, I guess, I Want to Be Yours is named after a John Cooper Clarke poem, and I think there was a lesson at school where we read I Want to Be Yours, where I was like, this is sick, like, and then we had to write our own version of it. So, and that was probably one of the most fun lessons. Like,
how old were you?
12.
Wow.
12, and like
That's so cool that like you can link that poem to like the play that you've written, you know, recently.
It's like lowercase, I guess, like it's like lowercase, no punctuation. So when you read it, and I had no clue what it sounded like. Like when he reads it, it's like, but he reads it so fast. Like I think there was a documentary that he just wants to sort of get off stage. He just reads it real like bullet pace, like let me be your full cortina breathing in your thoughts. And it's but he's from like not Salford. I hope I don't get it wrong. Salford or Greater Manchester, something like that. So in his broad accent, he's just like boom. But it sounded like himself. It was one of the first things that it wasn't like just completely an exercise in form and structure, which he is clearly like in terms of meter and stuff. It's clearly precise and he's obviously thought about it. But there was something that felt like him.
It's so funny, like when you were talking about like everything lowercase, like because it makes me think of your emails, like when we were like getting in touch about organising this. Like I was like, I really like the way that Zia writes emails. Like,
do you know what it is? Paragraphs give me like headaches. I don't know what it's like. A block of text. I mean, I've had a problem with like. It's not a reason why I'm like not good at acting or something. Something about learning blocks of text. Like, of course, I'd have to rewrite it and be like, break it down into lines because it's something about not cluster. There's something about it's like being hit by a brick wall. It's just like boom, and I'm like, I can't read this right now. So that's why I'm not always good at replying to emails because there's something like if it feels overwhelming.
Yeah.
But if it's like broken down in lines, it just feels easy to digest or something. I don't know. It's just
And like I'm wondering about like when the two came together, like when you kind of were because like you've been a poet since like 2011, would you say? Like,
yeah.
No,
that's
20. Is that right?
Yeah. I think that's when we graduated the Roundhouse Poetry Collective.
So when did you start that? Like after Oval House, like what was the gap between then working with Roundhouse?
They were like alongside. Even if I say I don't know much whatever about theatre, it's all linked to groups. So then I found out about this thing at Royal Court, which was a Muslim writers group. I think they were like, because my sister had done it. So she's a writer as well. And that I met Sabrina Mahfouz on that. She invited us to the UK Slam. And that was like my first exposure to like my like slam poetry. And then just seeing her in the group, like, and then the way she delivered her writing, it didn't seem like too much of a leap. It just felt like, other than like length of time, I play probably like 60, 70 minutes, but this thing's like 3-minute things, but she's still taking you on like a journey of things, and like the rhythm of it, like the playfulness of it as well, and with her stuff specifically, because she would like switch characters as well. And, like it's like it's so sick to watch. But like, well, like I think that was a moment of like them coming together or leaning or going from theatre into that. Because then, by chance, in the same week, I saw my mate Shomoni, he's a sick writer, but he had told me about this new thing he started at the Roundhouse, and his group, like Bridget Minimal was on it. Belinda Joey, Paul Cree, bunch like within the scene of like people that are still writing. Yeah, it was like a moment, like a epiphany or a moment of clarity or something. I was like, I think this is what I want to do. So yeah, since like 2011 is when I sort of just went all in with the poetry.
And what was the process of like writing your first play? Like how did the feeling of that differ from writing poetry, and also what made you want to do it?
So the play or
the play? Yeah.
Oh, the play. So now the play come about. So then, once I joined around, that's a sort of because all the groups, youth groups, were like sort of closing down or people just moving on. Like you feel like you can't be. I mean, maybe you can, but you can stay there for like a long time, or sometimes it feels like a year or two is. And then like, okay, let's try something else. I started going all in with the spoken word, like doing festivals, and started our own collective called Elephant Collective, which is like, you have to leave after a year for the roundhouse.
Oh, yeah,
so,
yeah.
like, after 3 terms, the next lot come in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a yearly thing. And then, so I kept on with that. And then in like 2016, there was a call out from Paines Plough and Tamasha for Come to Where I'm From, which is like, it's like a map of the UK. And like, you download the app and then you can like zoom in and click on a town or a city, and then there's writers from that place that have written a monologue about the place. It's sort of like discovering the cities through these writers that have written like 10 to 15 minute monologues. And this was the first time they'd done London. So there was like a big call out. And it just, but the thing about this one, the writers have to perform their own work. So for me, that felt like something. I was like, okay, I'll send something in, and I feels like I could just do a spoken word piece. It wouldn't. That's not too different from a monologue. Like it's not. So I did the Northwest London thing with. So we got put alongside professional playwrights. So there was an open call out, and then the sort of more commission writers, and so it was like Che Walker. And Gabriel Bissett Smith, and then it was myself and my sister as well.
Oh, cool.
She applied as well, and then
what's your sister's name?
Zia Ahmed, and another writer called Carla Williams, I think. We all did that night. It was like the week, a couple of days after Brexit, and it was just a weird sort of. I mean, no one turned up because England were playing that night as well.
Oh, right.
So
so it was a performance.
It was so we
Right.
read in like, this was Tricycle before it became Kiln, on the top floor, and it was like a night. We just did it, got paid. Like, I mean, that was part of, because it was like you got paid like I don't know if it's 200 quid or something.
Nice, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, okay, cool. Hopefully if I get that's cool to get 200 quid. And but then they invited me in for a meeting. From that, they were like, we want to keep in touch. And then they were like, do you mind if we apply to this Channel 4 playwright scheme for you? I was like, yeah.
Sure,
yeah. If you do the form, that's cool. Like,
so long as I don't have to do the form.
Yeah. And then they did it, got an interview, and then I went on the interview with James Grieve, and then got the bursary. So then 2017, I had the bursary to spend a year with Paines Plough. So in that year, I was like, cool, I'm gonna immerse myself back into theatre. I just spent like reading plays, trying out things, but the receipt for the bursary was me submitting a play. So at the end of the year, I had to write a play in order to like get the bursary. No conditions on the play, doesn't have to be put on or anything. So they helped. Like, they were like, we'll get some actors in, do workshops, and then I did a reading, and then I got a call a week later saying that I didn't ask any questions about Tamasha. Are looking for a play for this rural tour, and like, would you? Like, I know you haven't like completely like finished the play, but would you be up for doing that? And like, we'll like support you, and like, it's not like you don't have to say yes, but like, they were like real careful with me, and then I was like, yeah, I'll do it, and then that's how it came.
Cool.
Yeah.
What was it like, sort of being supported for that year? Like, how did that help you to write the play?
I think it was more just sort of trying to have a more of a positive relationship with it again. I think because it doesn't have to be like, I got to be spoken word or theatre. Like, because I remember like applying to this writers group, because I sent mainly like spoken word stuff that I'd written, but then like the reason for like them not allowing me in the group was they weren't sure. I don't know, the word in some is like, they weren't sure about my dedication to the theatrical form. It was, I don't know, something, which then for me felt like, because it was like a spoken wordy vibe, or like,
because of the different, like, formally interesting.
Which felt a bit weird. I'm like, that, like, telling a story in whatever form is theatre. Like,
you'd think that somebody like a theatre would be interested in how you would do that, like that interesting theatrical problem, rather than like dismissing it because of that.
Exactly. No, that's why I was like, right, okay, cool then. Like, I don't really I don't want to write something that you want me to write.
And is that kind of like with scenes like that, like, and that kind of feedback, did that kind of put you off writing for theatre? Or
Yeah, because then I was like, then I won't be writing stuff that I want to write. So it wasn't more like, I was like, is that the actual reason? Like, because I just found that jarring, and then I was like, you know what, I don't, like, if I'm gonna make a show, like, I'll find a way to do it, whatever spoken word section somewhere rather than the theatre, whatever.
Yes, I think it's funny when you're sitting like in between genres, like, and how you like navigate that. And I feel like it's really cool that you got the space and the time with Paines Plough to like really like hone how to make a virtue of like the way that the form works within theatre. Yeah,
they were like, we want you to write what you want to write, and it was because it was like 10 of them. They like sort of George, who was the artistic director before the new ones, with James. He was like, gave him the monologue that I wrote for Come to Arm From, was like, all right, turn this into a play. So it was like this thing of like anything has the potential to be a play. It doesn't, just because there weren't like 10 characters. You know, it is a piece of writing. Like, and then that helped me a lot, because then it was like, okay, I don't have to write characters and what they had for breakfast or whatever. Like, it was like, I can write this thing and characters can come out of it or not, or they can. So that was a moment where I'm like, okay, cool, like, don't stress, like, and also, and it's, they'll read it. And I think also having knowing that this was going to get read. I mean, like, if I'm like posting it something like, you know, don't hear back or whatever, but like knowing that it's going to get read was kind of like, cool, I'm going to write what I want. It's going to get read. I'm going to get thoughts on it. It was like, it's a privileged position, like, but that's what the bursary enabled me to have people that would read my stuff.
And what, like, is your process like when you kind of, during that year when you had that time to do it, like, how did you sit down and go about writing it?
It was hard, it was long. I think like the first half of the year I just read, just to find, not necessarily to like, this is what I want to write, like, just find the things I'm drawn to, or the things that I'm just like, get away from me, like, sort of, it's like, because they got the database of like, it's got thousands of plays, so I just come in, sit at the desk and just read. And I think
that's amazing to do for like 6 months.
It's
incredible.
Like, I think that but it's the financial, I think being financially supported was just, because then I could take less hours doing jobs, like I was nannying at the time, so I didn't have to do it as intensely. We'd have meetings every week, so they'd just like, did you watch anything? What do you like? Did you read anything you like? And then sort of, a lot of it just from bouncing from conversations. And I think the problem that I was having was from when I'm watching a spoken word thing, the person performing can just tell you like, all right, we're in another space now, like, or like, all right, cool, it's 1972. And like, there's like a thing where like, it's like, I don't know, it's like exposition that kind of works for me anyway, because it's like you just tell, all right, we're here now,
boom,
and like, cool, come with me if you want, like. And I was just that thing of, can I keep that, and or do I? Is it then just turning that into character? That was the struggle, because I think I knew I didn't want to do a solo thing, because that's what I've been writing for myself, doing poetry and stuff. So I was like, I'm gonna have a go at characters, but then just working out this thing of time, like real time. So do I want to do something that's real time, something that's over like a length of time, or somewhere that time don't exist? So in my head I've sort of boiled it down to them three. So then I remembered picking 3 plays to be, which at the art said that they stay just to watch it, and there was 2nd of May 1997. So Jack Thorne, which were like 3 scenes in real time. And then Lungs, which was like over however many years. And then Crave, Sarah Kane, which was just, it's almost like time don't exist. It's just like these lines. Then try to incorporate all of them times, but so the play's like over like a couple years, but it's trying to incorporate all them elements of like real time, or I guess that spoken word thing we just like told you, all right, we're here now.
I'm interested, like, because you sort of said that you were like reading for the first half of it,
Yeah.
and like when you were talking about like youth groups and like how you got into theatre,
Yeah.
like it didn't sound like when you were growing up you saw that much.
Yeah.
And like, do you feel like kind of your main way into theatre was through reading lots of plays? Like, it sounds like you kind of read loads, especially in that year.
Yeah, I was reading like plays every day, so it was like.
Were you seeing much?
At the time, that was, I was seeing plays, like I'd asked them for recommendations and stuff, and like can't actually remember anything that I saw. I can remember plays that I read, but it was, so I'd try and watch like a show a week or something. I mean, again, this was a financial thing, like having the bursary was to like buy tickets and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and also they would like the roundabout shows, like I'd go to like read throughs, and so they would show me the process of like, this is what the first read through's like, and then this is, and then they all took me to Fringe, so I'd never been Fringe, and I spent like a week at the Fringe watching the roundabout shows. Yeah, no, that bursary like fucking helped so much, because I wouldn't like, even the cost of going to the fair is just so like, because them like cheap 10 tickets get snapped up so quick, and you're like, oh God, and or you just I don't know how many every show almost feels like a restricted view. Like, it's like,
how much can you crane your neck?
Yeah,
if
like,
you're going more than once a week.
It's like trying to jigsaw the views together. It's like a weird like, but.
You were saying like, because like the bursary kind of like was such a help in order to be able to like have that time to watch and to write and to see plays, but like, what were you doing to support yourself like before that, or like what did you do afterwards? Like, what's the kind of, you said like nannying.
It was odd jobs. I was like odd jobs, or like living at home, or and then I think once I got nannying, which was more regular, that was.
How regular was it? Like every.
There was like, it was every day for a while, and then it sort of became whenever the families needed me, and again that was that was something that happened by accident. Like I saw someone on Facebook like, I need someone for Monday, and I was like broke, and like, I was like,
I'll do anything.
I've hung out with, I mean, I'd done like the odd babysitting for like mates and stuff, so I was like, look, I know the person knew me, so I think that helped. So then I got all the official stuff like offset training and baby first aid and all that. But it wasn't something that I planned. It was just like, I need money. So it was like, and I don't, like, kids are cool, but I don't have like a mad urge to like, because like I'm horrible at doing workshops and stuff like that. Like, but one-on-one is cool. But yeah, so I was nannying was for a few years the main sort of income, but then post bursary I sort of weaned off it, but I think like Touchwood for like, it's been like post bursary, like the commission money and stuff. So I feel like this past year is the first year I've been like sort of a writer.
Or like being able to live off of writing.
Being able to live off it, yeah.
And so is it kind of like the way you support yourself is like commissions and like gigs, like when you're doing poetry as well? Is that kind of like how you support?
Yeah, so it's just commissions for like theatre or for to write poems, and then getting paid for gigs. It's it's very, there's not a set rate for anything, so it's just whatever you get. Like you can get cash in hand, or you get like a sort of bigger commission, or it's very scat. I'm sure all right, yeah, it's all scatty.
Yeah.
But yeah, this year's been. I couldn't have just done one. I still need to do I still love doing the sort of poetry gigs as well.
And like, I know what you mean about it being scatty. It's kind of like, I don't know, it can be hard to like juggle all the different things. Like, how do you manage that? Like, and also like with mental health, like as well, like it can be so difficult when you're freelance, like managing all of that.
At the moment, I'm a therapist. I think if you got the money to do it, like, it feels like a weird thing of like writing about things which relates. It's like a circle, like, which I found hard. There was a part of me, it's like writing about something that, whether it's not necessarily autobiographical or not, but comes from a feeling of, and which probably you need therapy for. But at the time you're writing, like, didn't have the money or whatever, and then it getting commissioned, and then sort of going over this weird thing, and then I was like, okay, I need to use this commission money to go therapy, which I needed in the first place. It's like this weird.
Oh my god, I hard relate to this. This is wild. So
that, and then there was a part of me that was like begrudging about paying, because the waiting list is too long. Like it's just felt like all this stuff about it's good to talk. Just like it's not. You need a therapy. Like and even the relationship with therapy is just hard because it's like it's like in blocks, and you want more consistency with it. But like it's like I got enough for like 6 sessions, and then like by the 6th session is when you're like starting to do real work, and it's like I got no more money left. So it's like that thing that. But then the waiting list to do it from the GP, NHS is just so,
really long.
So long, like
And do you feel like that's like the main way, like that you kind of sort of work through mental health stuff is like with like therapy, or like do you have kind of things alongside that, maybe when you can't afford therapy or when there's just not time, like that you do alongside it? Again, I'm questioning everything that I've done in terms of. The writing was always therapeutic. Again, and that's not like a endorsement of it or a criticism of it, but it's it was writing and open mics was the thing where like I think the thing, of course, a therapist trained, but it's that thing of having a conversation and feeling listened to, like, and that again, like there's schools of thoughts on it. Like it's hard, but in an open mic, poetry open mic, for better or worse, there's people that will come to it and just sort of release, like I just need to share this because I can't do this. I need to get this out of my head, like. And again, like for a lot of these people, it's like you should see a therapist. Like, it's hard to. But of course, you don't want finances, etc. Like, but I feel like something that's quite interesting, specifically about poetry, and I guess like any kind of art, is like you're distilling an emotion or an experience, and like you kind of need to have some distance from it in order to set it down, and then to share it with other people. Like it's interesting because it can feel really exposing, and like you say, you might like need more therapy in order to like deal with the fact that that's what you're doing, but also it's such a generous act of like I remember I was watching Bardot, like the poem, and like I think I'd literally just done some writing on. It was like not proper writing; it was just like getting stuff out. But it was feelings that I was having about an ex-relationship, and like hearing somebody talk about a similar thing to what you're going through is just such a like, just makes you feel less alone, and just makes you feel like it's just so it's funny how it's therapy for the person that does it, but then also can be a kind of therapy for the people who are listening.
Poetry, there's so intense because like
I just want to clarify, Bardot is a poem by Zia.
I might first watch again. That's there's this intensity, like people feel like they know you off the back of you reading, or you just feel because there's so much things being revealed, like. But there's also this thing where like people want it to be true, which is that's a tricky line, because like I think there's a blog for like there's a poetry organization, Apples and Snakes, which a guy asked a question about authenticity, and that's this weird thing. I don't know. again, too, it's conflicting thoughts about it. Like, what does that mean? Like, or why are certain people drawn to it? And then, but then it's like, who gets to say something is authentic, like, or true, but it's a tricky thing. I don't know, because get a therapy. If you got money, go therapy. I mean,
that's the
thing.
Takeaway.
You know what? Yeah. That's the thing. Like, and there is something cool about writing personal thing, and like in terms for like the person reading and the person receiving in the audience. But like, now there's something about not feeling alone. I think a lot of that, even if it's not directly about you or specifically about the feeling of something, is something that you can relate to, empathize with, or try and sympathize with, and
And like, how does it that feeling of like artist therapy, like translating like something that you've maybe felt or experienced or not, like how does that differ, like when it's in poetry or when it comes to like writing a play, like because you're in rehearsals at the moment, like what is that feeling like being in rehearsals? The
distance has been cool because I get from the rural tour to this tour, it was like a space of 18 months. So I know when I first, I think because also the speed of it, I didn't have time to think about things. Not necessarily distancing yourself from the feeling, but like, I think putting the space around it, like, 'cause if you're still in that feeling, it's very hard to. Everything feels dramatic. Like with a play, I think it feels more. Then I do have to think more about, I guess, the shape of it. I feel like my relationship with the spoken word stuff is developing, but at first it was very like, I've got to share something, or I've got to write something because I feel I can't just be feeling like this, or I can't be carrying this feeling. But with the play, I think, and having space with it as well has, I guess, shape and space, like, of, because if I was to get this amount of rehearsal time from like when the first draft, because of the feeling, unless I think because this specifically the writing happened very quickly. Like, if it was something that I'd written over a length of time, then maybe, but because it was written very quickly, everything when I'm in that feeling feels dramatic. So it's all like, feels like, of course, that's like, that, can't you feel that feeling? Because I'm feeling it, but I can't, other people won't be feeling it. I'm so in it, because I'm so in that feeling myself, I can't objectively be like, whereas with, and because it was like doing scenes and stuff, whereas with a poem, I feel like I can get out of it quicker by doing a rhyme or a pun or something. It feels more like there's ways for me to like get out of the emotion more.
That's so interesting. So it's like almost like the wordplay creates the kind of distance that you almost need in order to like experience it afresh, like, and to not be in the feeling. Whereas like maybe like with a play, it's almost like the structure and like, like the structure kind of, and the way that you go into it and the way that you tell that story kind of helps kind of make it not just the emotion, but like distills it in a different way.
So it's just not like feelings. Like, it's like, okay, this is this comes from a feeling rather than this is the feeling, and you're gonna feel it too. Have
you read the Stephen Jeffries book, like Structure?
No,
it's on playwriting. It's really good. When someone first recommended it to me, I was a bit like, yikes, because I just feel like any book that's on structure kind of freaks me out. It feels like it's going to be like really intimidating, but would highly recommend, because Stephen Jeffries, he like passed away actually, but like he's just, the way that he wrote it was so, it just felt really conversational and like really chill and really like, it made me excited about structure, which is kind of wild because like how can you get excited about like playwriting structure? But I just feel like it's interesting. Yeah, I just feel like he speaks really well about like how you tell a story or how you like write a play and how that can affect an audience, like completely changes what the thing is. And like, I don't know, I just feel like you'd maybe really enjoy it.
I should read it.
Yeah. Next time I see it, if I know that I'm going to see it, I'll lend it to you.
Right.
It's
okay,
really
that'll
good.
be cool. Nice. Structure's been a bugbear. I think like
it's interesting because like with what you're saying about like spoken word and that form feeling incredibly important to like your voice and like that kind of being what liberated you, like reading somebody who like didn't do what he was kind of told to do in his writing, but then also like kind of loving structure and like that being a way in to help you figure out how to tell the story.
Yeah.
I find that interesting.
So if everyone did the same structure, then what is the thing? Like, what is the thing that then is the thing after that? But then you can't plan. I think I don't know. It's more like a question rather than a thing like what are you structuring something that's already there, or then is it the structure and putting something into it? I think some people do the structure. I think you can tell as well, like with your gut, like when it's not about whether when someone's done the structure before
putting the story on
it, whereas getting a story that and then structuring that. I think it's the order of things.
Yeah,
but,
it's like almost like this story is telling me how I need to tell it.
Yeah.
Or is it like I know that I need to say this? I need to tell this kind of story, and this is the story comes afterwards.
Yeah, it's it was. I think not honesty. I don't know what it is. Just a taste. This is a taste thing, but like the things that I like, are the things that feel truth, whether they're like true or not. They feel truthful, or they come from a truthful feeling. Like, because even with books or things that I've read, like some people do desperately want it to be like, oh, you lived that, right? Or like, oh, so what was it? I think grief is the thing with feathers or something like, oh, so your wife's dead. And I think the writer was like, no, it's about grief in it. I want it, and it felt like was a way to tell it. But then people almost being disappointed that
that his wife is alive.
It's like, but whatever the impulse was, whether it was, I want to write about grief because I'm thinking about, I don't know, my dad or something, or thinking about what it might, it's, they just thought, I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say there, but it's,
But something about like that authenticity and like that not, like question like what authenticity kind of is. And like the impulse that, if the impulse that drove you to write something is true, and like you tell that story in like the best way possible, then like that is a kind of true thing.
I think that's what, or those are the I think those are the things I'm drawn to. Like I'm sure there's plays that I like exercises in, this is how to write a play, which are sick, but for me I would just not be able to. I feel like you have your own radar, and for me that's not the thing that interests me at all.
And what I'm interested in, like hearing about like what success looks like for you, like because especially as somebody who like is multidisciplinary, like you don't do just one kind of writing. Like what if I was to say like Zia in 5 years?
Oh man,
this is what I'd like.
I can't. Even like 5 months feels hard. Like I don't know. I think the word success is a hard thing for me. I think being able to try stuff out and like, I guess for success, it's not about trying to sound like a fortune cookie, but it's being allowed to fail. I think that thing is like not being trapped in this. Being allowed to fail and not trying things out, but being allowed to. But I feel that's a conversation about especially with like black writers, brown writers, like everything's got to be like perfect, or everything's got to be successful.
Yeah.
Like whereas you got other writers that they'll have like a couple plays that aren't whether success is being critically acclaimed or whatever, but they were allowed to try things out. Is it success in space? I don't know. Maybe
that's amazing. That's a really interesting thing. Success being space.
Yeah, rather than like whatever, stars or money. Of course, whatever people want them, that helps with funding and forms and shit. But I think for the makers, it's about having space.
I'm also interested in like what inspires you, like.
I think being around people. I think from their youth groups and collectives, it's always been just seeing people that you love and respect, just making stuff, and that's always inspiring to be around. And I feel like everyone potentially, whatever, there's always people that have something to say, and like some people will get a chance to say it on a stage, in a song, in a conversation, in a cafe or something. Like it's just no. I guess connection is inspiring, because theatre or it's poetry. It needs to be a conversation. It needs to be between people. Like it's not a thing of like, cool, here's the thing, go on. Like it's
about a relationship.
It's about giving and receiving emotion, or because then otherwise it's like I could write and just read in front of my mirror, like what is. And this, I always think about it, but like, why do I need to do it on an open mic? And I guess a lot of it was related to that sort of therapeutic element, but it is about, it's about being in a space with other people, and then sharing the story. And I think that's something that's just throughout time. It's not a new or an old thing. It's just always been there, like groups of people gathering and be like, this is the story, or this is the feeling, like. And I think that is always a thing that inspires me to do more. And maybe just a thing to be with other people. Maybe that is just a thing of
like being surrounded by people and like conversing with people and like reminiscing and considering what life's about, kind of.
And it's the sharing, it's an offering, like just like with food or anything, it's on that same level. Like, what's that? Well, potluck evening when everyone brings their own meal, like and then you get to have all these different things. Like that's how I feel about making stuff.
Amazing. My final question is, what are you excited about making next?
I would be excited to make another show, only because the rehearsal, I've loved it so much. Like just with the director, with the actors, with the stage manager, with it's just so. It's the collaboration of a theatre show is exciting, and I would like to have another go with that. Like, I found the writing of the play the hardest, because it was just it was mad lonely. Like I think with writing a shorter thing, the loneliness doesn't seem to go on forever. Like
you write it and it's like in front of people a bit quicker.
And whereas this was like I guess the space between the first tour and this tour was like 18 months, and it was just like, just bare lonely. And then, but then I think, again, just, thinking about mental health and stuff, like, it was hard, but then it feels like the thing to go through in order to get the rehearsal room, which I've loved it so much. Like, I can't. Yeah, just when you see everyone bringing their own stuff and making something with you, it doesn't feel like they make this. It's not my show. It's like, when it feels like our show. I think to have the opportunity to do that again that's the next thing.
Thank you so much. It was so good to speak to you.
Thank you.
I really hope that you get that soon. I bet you will.
Yeah. Hope so too.
Thanks so much for listening to Making It. If you'd like to hear more, make sure to subscribe and leave us a cheeky 5-star review. You can also follow me on Twitter @WilkeyWay, and you can book to see my debut play, The High Table, which will be on at the Bush Theatre in Shepherd's Bush from February the 8th. Making It is produced by Jane Ryan, edited and scored by Kasra Firouzyar, photography by Jess Ravel, artwork by Theo Banner, and hosted by me, Temi Wilkey. The podcast is supported by the Bush Theatre and London Playwrights, and is a proud member of the OneFinePlay network.